What up, guys? Welcome back to episode number 37 today of the My Player Career Mode. As you can see, there is a flight taking off from London Heathrow Airport heading over to the chosen destination of which Ben will be joining whichever club. And the most voted of the last episode, if you didn't vote, you could have pressed the I button on the top right hand side of the video, was actually Real Madrid. So it won with 62% of the votes at the time I recorded this, which is... it's understandable. I can see why a lot of people would have chosen Real Madrid. So as the plane took off, carrying Ben over to his next team that he will be playing for. I mean, is it a bad career move? That's the question that I want to bring up today. And then it landed, of course, in Spain, I guess. And the main point of my kind of, I guess, is it going to be a bad career move, is going to be this. Because remember, whichever one Ben chose to go to, or whichever one Ben had the helping hand of you guys to choose to go to, would have been PSG, Real Madrid, or staying at Spurs. Now, he's of course following in his uncle's footsteps because he played for both PSG and Real Madrid. His uncle, technically speaking, is the chief negotiator over at PSG. So, in that aspect of it, that is probably how the deal was made with Spurs to potentially take him over to France. And a few of you guys actually said in the last episode, regarding that situation, why didn't he choose PSG? Or he's a bit of a traitor for not choosing PSG, of course, because his uncle's there. But in many ways, I think Ben has to think about himself. He has to think about his career. And the best kind of possibility, I would say, of him winning a major European trophy is, I would say, probably going to be Real Madrid. Because remember, DJ Wood only won one Champions League trophy, and it was Real Madrid. And it was with Real Madrid. He then got to a final with Juventus later on, of course, losing to Real Madrid. So, in many ways, I think that's kind of swung the decision possibly for Ben in him choosing Real Madrid. As I'm going through, you can see the team they've got. But there is also stuff to think about as well, because if he'd have stayed at Spurs, he was guaranteed football. He was guaranteed first-team action. He is playing Champions League football there, or would have been if he'd have stayed there, and he would have been partaking in, of course, 4 different competitions there. But he chose he wanted to move, I guess, after the season that they had. I mean, he could have stayed at Spurs. He could have probably won more trophies and done the business there. But if people like Real Madrid come calling, you can't really say no, can you? So in terms of that one, if it had also gone to PSG, there would have been, I guess, battles to see whether or not he was going to get into the team over there. Because remember, they have Dele Alli. They have, of course, Draxler, a few people like that who I would say play a similar position to Ben. Is he going to get in the side? But then again, the same can be said for Real Madrid here, because there is a number of unbelievable players in this Real Madrid side. So I think this is probably the best team that Ben has played with so far. You'll see it pop up on the screen in a moment's time, guys. And interestingly enough, Athletic Club did actually have Troy Deeney up front. Of course, another English import now to the Spanish leagues. And he's starting up top and is the captain of the opponents today, as Ben starts in a midfield three of him, Casemiro, and Llorente Llorente, is it how you say it, as the midfield three. But it's such a good attacking front three, I have to say. There's Ronaldo, Aguero, and Gareth Bale as an attacking trio. However, with all that to offer going forward, it was actually Madrid who found themselves a goal down. It was the home side on the day who took the lead, and it was through another English import in the form of Troy Deeney. The man on the edge of the area took the strike on. It came back off the top of the crossbar and fell to the unmarked Deeney, who had a simple task of just simply nodding that one into the back of the empty net. So for Real Madrid, 26 minutes into this game or whatever it was, they were already 1-0 down. Not quite the debut or the dream debut that Ben was looking for straight away. So, I mean, a little bit of work to do, but I'm sure Real Madrid will get chances with the quality they have. And Ben picking up the ball here, showing why Real Madrid would have paid the fee they did for him. At the time, we were unsure. There's a lot of rumours going around about how much it was actually paid for Ben over from Spurs. We will be able to find out in the future episodes, because it will eventually be released. But for now, we don't actually know what the exact amount of money paid for him was. But he wins a penalty for his new team after he goes down in the area. Laporte is the man who makes the tackle. Whether or not it's a penalty, you guys can debate that in the comment section. I don't think it's the penalty, but you know what? Real Madrid needed to get this one and put it in the back of the net. So it's going to be Ronaldo, the ever so Penaldo, as people call him, to step up and take this. And for some reason, he tried to chip the keeper and made himself look like a fool, because he ended up hitting it straight at the goalkeeper. So massive opportunity for Real Madrid, squandered, and they're still 1-0 down in the game. But they came back out in the second half. Ben here, good play, gives it off to Aguero. Aguero does ever so well to get it back to the young man And he really should have made it 1-1. That is a shocker of a miss. Yes, he's not right-footed, but we know what he's capable of with getting in those situations and scoring. So Madrid fans now surely head in hands, and they're thinking, what on earth is going on here? We've got a few minutes left of this game, 28 to go. Ben, great run into the area, manages to dink it across and just about dealt with by the home side again there. So Real Madrid really are trying to get themselves back in this one, but at the moment they are heading for a defeat here in Ben's first game at the club. Marcus Rashford off the bench, great play from him, squares it again to Ben. This time though, the keeper makes a great save, and it is still 1-0. The goal scorer, Dini, heading off the field here. And unfortunately for Real, they could not find an equaliser. That was it. They'd gone on to lose Ben's debut game at the club. It was absolutely unbelievable, to be honest. I mean, you can see Benny sat there. He doesn't know what to make of it. As it's a nice gesture as well, I have to say, from number 7 of the club that we are playing against. I think it's Bilbao, is it? And I mean, I looked at this game, and genuinely, I didn't know what to make of it. I saw chances for Real Madrid, and arguably they've got to score them if they're looking to do what they are doing this season. And I mean, you can just see, guys, how many chances Madrid, in fact, had. I was looking for the penalty miss here, but for some reason it wasn't on there. It didn't get saved by the game. But, you know, if Ronaldo scores that penalty, if Real Madrid score one of the 2 chances or 1 or 2 of the chances they had, they'd have got away with 3 points. But, you know, Athletic Club Bilbao, they've come away with the 3 points. And it's now Madrid's first defeat of the season, courtesy of Ben playing in the game. Although you can't really blame him for that one because it is what it is. So, luckily for him, he had a breakaway after his first game for Real in the league there. Now he's going to be playing some international football for the already qualified England squad. So, he does go into this game against Sweden. There are 2 games to go. He plays this one against Sweden, and then he had to sim the one against Wales, which I forgot to actually show you the sim, which I apologise for. But the result is irrelevant, basically, because it doesn't matter. England have qualified regardless. So you can see there Wales cannot qualify either, with 2 games remaining in this thing. And I do believe that they did go on to beat Wales in the sim that I did, and they ended up 4-1 winners, I think. So, yeah, apologies for not showing you that. I've just realised in the editing as I'm editing this back that it's not in there, I don't think. So, yeah, my bad. But this one against Sweden is going to be in there, and it's more just to get Ben's confidence going for the season ahead because, of course, playing at Real Madrid at 22 years of age, you've got a lot of pressure on your shoulders. He wants to prove why Real Madrid has bought him and taken him over to Spain. Now, as I said to you earlier on, guys, my question of you guys today, as I said, with the fact that I don't want it to be, or I kind of think that he might have a tough season, how do you think Ben is going to perform in this first season at Real Madrid? Do you think he's going to have quite a difficult season, or do you think he's going to play his best season of football yet in one of the arguably best teams in the world? Let me know down in the comments below. But this game started off pretty well for England because 8 minutes in, they picked up a penalty against the Swedes here. And credit to them, actually, as I'm going to some in real life tangent here. They, of course, knocked out Italy, didn't they, over 2 legs to qualify for the World Cup. So credit to Sweden. And I suppose for England and me as an England fan, makes it slightly better in the aspect of that because Italy down the years have caused England some upsets, I guess, or kind of knocked us out of some competitions. So, you know, I much prefer to have Sweden there than Italy for the sake of England. I think that overall, I mean, I don't really know what to make of either side. I think if Sweden can beat Italy, they can beat England. But if I was to say right now, I would probably prefer us to be playing in Sweden rather than Italy in the World Cup if we match them. So hopefully we don't have a repeat of Iceland is all I'm going to say. But that is a very good possibility because Sweden are a decent team as well alongside that of Italy. So on their day, I firmly believe Sweden that could beat England quite easily. So the way we are, we perform when we're not in the competitions, and then we don't when we don't perform when we get there, basically. We perform in the friendlies and the build-up to it, and then when we get there, we just turn into an absolute just garbage fest, basically. But luckily, the game doesn't follow that way, because Harry Kane has scored his 7th goal in the European Championship qualifiers here. So, decent penalty from him right in the top corner, and England lead by a 1-0 inside 10 minutes here. And then Ben said to Harry, listen, mate, anything you can do, I can do better. But then when he turns here, gets this left-footed strike off, I thought he'd scored the goal of the game so far. However, he ends up hitting it wide of the post. Of course, his former teammate is Harry Kane. Now, remember I spoke about their partnership and budding bromance. They're going to have to continue at an international level rather than having to continue at club level because, of course, Ben now is no longer at Spurs. But that was very, very close to making it 2-0, in this game. But in the end, 23 minutes in, great pass through. Ben goes through, and when he's in one-on-one with the keeper, you'd like to think that he has the ability to finish that one off, and luckily he does. He finishes it off very nicely indeed. But credit to Marcus Rashford, actually, of course, Ben's new teammate over at Real Madrid, for the through ball itself, because that was a sensational through ball. I mean, the defender does help it on its way by out positioning himself pretty hard there, to be fair, and then Ben gets a little bit of luck on that side of it, but the through ball, regardless, is very, very good indeed. And that's why the score now is 2-0 to the visitors here against Sweden. I wasn't sure whether or not Sweden could have qualified here, or whether or not they were going to qualify. I couldn't remember, and I obviously saw the league just before it popped up the table, but I wasn't sure as to where Sweden were. So that's now 6 in the Europa qualifiers for Ben here. And as the 90th minute whistle went, that was the way the game ended. So a 2-0 victory for England. Different, of course, to that of Real Madrid, where Ben lost his first game for the new club. And he's continuing to win for England, so at least he's got that bonus for him. And hopefully, moving forward, that's going to give him a bit of confidence he might need to go into this Real Madrid setup. Because the one thing you don't want him to have is him start to play badly and then feel the unnecessary pressure on his shoulders. Well, I say unnecessary. Of course, you're playing for Real Madrid. The pressure's going to be there already. But, you know, in terms of that one, he's going to have, I guess, expectations that he may have not had when he joined Spurs because of the fact that he was just coming from Wolves. People weren't sure whether or not he was going to be, you know, this really good player. Whereas Real Madrid have expectations now because they've seen what he's done at Spurs and they're expecting him to perform when he goes over to Spain and plays for Real. But if he doesn't start to do that and we get 5-6 games in and he's having a shocker, you know, he might crumble. We've not really seen him under pressure is what I'm trying to say, because at Spurs, yes, he had the time when he was under pressure, but in terms of like real pressure where he's not performing week in, week out and he's still getting played, he hasn't really had that yet, because I suppose he was playing with a little bit of freedom at Spurs. And we'll see if he can handle the pressure over at Real. So as I said, there was one game against Wales, which I forgot to show you the sim. They did go on to win 4-1, did England, and it had no relevance on the group stage whatever for either of the two sides there, because Wales could not qualify and England were already through as group winners. So that is basically that, guys. But as we now move into the third and final game of today's episode, Ben picked again for this one here, and it is his first home game for Real Madrid. It's his home debut here. He has something to prove. And they took on Deportivo, I think it was. And the side, as you can see from Zidane, is a very strong one again. Llorente, Casemiro, and Wood as the midfield three with the same, I think it was exactly the same team, actually. And Deportivo, you can see their side as it pops up on the screen. But there's one thing, I guess, that may have swung the decision as well, specifically to me. If I was a centre attacking midfielder and I had the choice of the options of joining PSG and being under Unai Emery, or I had the option to join Real Madrid and be under Zinedine Zidane, I think I know which one I would pick. So I guess he's going to be tutored by Zidane. We'll see if that is going to make Ben an even better player down the line. And 3 minutes into this game, he got involved already, finding a pass through to a teammate there who did actually force the goalkeeper into a save. So at least it's a shot on target already for Real Madrid, if nothing else. And then we move into the 40th minute. He gets a pass off to the left-hand side, which eventually finds its way to Ronaldo. Ronaldo in back to the left back, who I think is Gaia. Gaia whips a great cross into the middle. Header isn't won cleanly, but it finds its way to Gareth Bale, who forces the goalkeeper to have to make a very good stop indeed there for Deportivo. Otherwise, that would have been 1-0 Real Madrid. It's crazy, actually, now to see Ben playing in the same team as that of Gareth Bale, you know, Ronaldo. Oh, man, it's just crazy to see. But he ends up hitting an absolute scorcher of a shot there, which came back off the top of the crossbar. That would have been his first goal in Real colours if he managed to get that. But sadly, he couldn't quite do it. We move into the 60th minute now. Ronaldo winning that header to Ben. Ben flicks it around the corner back to, I think it was Casemiro in the middle there. And once again, the keeper making a good save. It's been a very frustrating start for Real Madrid, I guess you can say, to Ben's career. And then 71 minutes in, a great pass through to Sergio Ramos, who is one of those players who picks up important goals when you need him to. And the skipper does the business again for us here, 72 minutes in. So Sergio Ramos, and did I say Ramos earlier? Ramos ends up getting the opening goal of the game here. So he wasn't Ronaldo, it wasn't Bale, it wasn't Aguero, any of the attacking trio quality that Real Madrid have, that he's scored in the first goal of Ben's Real Madrid career. It's actually going to be Sergio Ramos. So surprisingly enough, it's going to be a central defender and not the multi-million pounds worth of talent they've got up front. But regardless, Real Madrid did go on to win the game by a 1-0. So finally, a victory for Ben at his new club. But that is how we're going to end today's episode off, guys. Thank you so much for all of your support as per usual. A like, rating, greatly appreciated. You guys are absolutely amazing. I really do appreciate everything you do for me and the channel. If you haven't already, click the little bell. You always get notified of when a video comes out. I will see you all again at 6 p.m. UK time tonight, guys, for another episode of Career Mode. Don't miss it. Catch you all then. Adios.